Part 1/3. I kicked my parents out of my wedding, now my whole family is against me. Hey Reddit. I never thought I'd be that guy, but here we are. Bride with veil the setup. I, 30M, have been married to Sarah, 29F, for 9 months now. We met 4 years ago through a hiking group, fell hard, and got engaged after 2 years. She's smart, funny, the kind of person who lights up a room and makes you feel brave. I'm more reserved, detail-oriented, sometimes nerdy. But we clicked. We started planning our wedding a year ago. It was supposed to be classic, backyard ceremony, family nearby, emotional speeches, homemade favors, the whole Pinterest vibe. My parents, Tom and Linda, were thrilled. They volunteered to help, the bar, the flowers, whatever I needed. At first, everything was great. But 6 months in, things started to shift. Triangular flag cracks in the foundation. My parents have a long history of overstepping. They believe they're always right. Their opinions come with volume, judgment, and unsolicited advice. My girlfriend, Sarah, tolerated it at first, but it always rubbed her the wrong way. A few examples. They insisted on choosing my suit style, they picked a loud pattern jacket. They suggested, casually, inviting my ex's family because it's polite. At rehearsal dinner, they corrected the officiant's script and told guests that the love story was better recounted this way. Sarah joked that they were auditioning for my Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, but I started feeling defensive too. I tried talking to my parents, gentle suggestions, boundaries, jokes, but nothing changed. They either ignored it or got offended, we're just helping. Why can't you relax? Even worse, they made digs about how Sarah pressures me, how she's too controlling, like a CEO ordering coffee, the joke steadily worsening. Sarah grew distant. She stopped asking for advice. She stopped laughing when they tried to be playful. Bomb T-1 month. 1 month before the wedding, we took my parents out to lunch to talk, calmly, politely. We said we loved them, appreciated their help, but the last few weeks felt tense. I said, we want this day to reflect us, not other people's ideas of who we should be. My dad's face tightened. My mom's eyebrow twitched. Then they both sighed dramatically. We just want what's best, they said. That was the first red flag. It wasn't helpfulness anymore, it felt like control. Fire the final straw. On the day before the wedding rehearsal dinner, my folks showed up with a live guitarist, a surprise for the ceremony. A musician I'd never approved, in an acoustic setup near the altar. I hadn't even planned an acoustic song, they assumed. Sarah's eyes went wide. She pulled me aside. Can you believe this? They didn't ask me anything. That night, while dinner unfolded, the guitarist started playing Here Comes the Bride. Before the officiant introduced us. Before my maid of honor could bring the rings. Sarah turned white. She pushed past family photos and tears and griped. That's it. They're making this their wedding. I stood up. Mom, Dad, we asked for no music here. You didn't confirm it. My father rolled his eyes, half smirking. Oh, come on. We got excited. That hit a breaking point. Kitchen knife on the wedding day, rehearsal morning. That morning, the venue coordinator came to me with a stack of contracts, accordion player for the cake cutting, Italian string quartet for cocktail hour, guest favors engraved with my parents' initials. These were things I had explicitly turned down. I confronted them. My mother started crying, saying, we only wanted to do something special. I said, you're not listening. This is about honoring us, not making us into your fairy tale. My dad scoffed. We funded half of this. That's when I lost it. I told them to leave. Right then. At the venue. Out. Now. Until the reception at the earliest. They protested, shouted, blamed me, threatened to call the venue manager. I held firm. Sarah called me back later, terrified I'd ruined everything. I went to her, held her hand, said, "What this day absolutely cannot do is become a hostage to anyone else's drama." She nodded, tears in her eyes. Firecracker aftermath. My parents left in a fury. They demanded refunds, threatened no monetary support, and told everyone in the family I stabbed them at the altar. I later found out they texted relatives, distorting the story. He embarrassed us. We should have given a speech. He's ungrateful. They painted us as the villains. At the wedding rehearsal that evening, friends asked if they'd been banned from the party. I just shrugged. The big day came. It was beautiful. Minimal music, only what we cared about. Small ceremony, emotional vows, written by us. I saw my mom in the crowd, crying, maybe not from joy. But they didn't know I'd told the officiant later, if anyone from my family acts up, security has permission to escort them off. My wife's peace mattered more than anybody's pride. Collision what I lost. The morning after, my phone exploded. Group family chat messages blasting me, "You broke their hearts. You disgraced them." Aunts and uncles calling crying, "Please fix this." My cousin saying, "I can't believe you did this to your mom." Even strangers at the wedding felt the vibe. Some longtime family friends avoided us. Sarah tried reassuring me. We did the right thing. But the backlash crushed me. It wasn't just them, it was how everyone rallied against me, narrating my story like a villain origin. Brain internal tornado. That week was mental purgatory. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I felt like I walked across hot coals. I questioned. Was I too harsh? Was I cold to my parents, or to my wife? Did I protect my peace, or did I burn bridges? I immersed in podcasts, therapy sessions, mantras. My therapy guy said, "Setting boundaries is messy. But some people don't recognize love if it's not presented with entitlement." It clicked. Magnifying glass tilted left cliffhanger / to be continued. My parents refused to attend the post-wedding brunch. They still haven't issued a public apology. Now, a month later, Sarah's family is supportive, but my side is fractured. I get side-eye at birthday dinner invites. I'm still paying for cancellation fees for the dog sitter they booked. I get passive-aggressive texts, "Hope you don't regret it." But I don't regret protecting her, even if half my blood wants me to. Part 2/3, my family has disowned me, but I'm starting to understand why. If you missed part 1, my parents took over our wedding, ignored our boundaries, and I kicked them out the morning of the rehearsal. The fallout was nuclear. Most of my extended family turned on me. My DMs were a war zone of guilt-tripping and silent treatments. But that was just the beginning. No mobile phones, radio silence. In the first week after the wedding, my parents didn't reach out once. Not even a text to ask if we were okay. It felt deliberate. And that silence was louder than any fight. My mom removed me from her Instagram story highlights. My dad unfriended Sarah. They weren't just hurt, they were erasing us. Meanwhile, Sarah's parents sent flowers, offered to help with thank you cards, and even sent a spa gift card. The contrast stung more than I expected. Mobile phone with arrow, the message that broke me. On day 9 post-wedding, I got a long text from my aunt, my dad's younger sister, who'd always been the cool one. "I love you, but I can't support what you did." They were humiliated. "Your mom cried all night. Your dad feels betrayed. They only wanted to be part of your big day. Now none of us know where we stand with you." I sat in my car and stared at that message for 20 minutes. Then I typed. What about what they did to us? What about Sarah? No one seems to care what we wanted. Just what they lost. She replied. You could have handled it better. And maybe she's right. But I was done playing host to other people's entitlement. Therapy, again. I brought this all up in therapy. Yes, I'm still going weekly, highly recommend. I told my therapist I was starting to second-guess everything. Maybe I should have waited. Maybe I should have just let them play their song, speak their speech, steal their spotlight. But he said something I'll never forget. Is peace worth pretending you're okay with being disrespected? And no. It wasn't. House with garden flashback, growing up with them. This might help give context. Growing up, my parents weren't bad parents, but they were intense. My mom micromanaged everything. My dad was the king of my way or the highway. Birthday parties? My mom decided the themes and guest lists. High school prom? My dad told me which girl was more appropriate. When I got into my first relationship at 19, they cornered me at dinner and grilled me about her GPA. Every milestone in my life has had this tension. I was the actor, they were the directors. So when Sarah came along, smart, independent, unwilling to be steamrolled, they didn't know what to do with her. Or with me, once I started pushing back. Birthday cake, my cousin's birthday disaster. 2 weeks after the wedding, we got invited to my cousin Lily's 18th birthday. I figured this might be the olive branch, a chance to re-enter the room without full-on drama. We showed up. Smiles. Hugs. Casual small talk. And then my dad walked in. He looked at me like I'd kicked his dog. Didn't say a word. Just walked past me and said loudly, to no one in particular. Some people only care about themselves. Guess that runs in the family. The entire room froze. Sarah tugged at my arm. Let's go, she whispered. But I stayed. I was tired of running from their moods. I calmly walked over and said, if you want to talk, I'm here. But I'm not going to let you insult me in front of everyone. He scoffed. You threw away your family for her. That was the final line. We left. Again. Outbox Stray Reddit to the rescue? Okay, so around this time, I actually posted a shorter version of this to Reddit, on AITA. I didn't use real names or give the full story. I mostly wanted to know if I was a jerk for kicking them out on the day. Most of the top comments supported me. Called it justified boundaries. Said they sounded manipulative. That gave me a little fuel to keep going. But one comment hit hard. It said, you didn't ruin the family dynamic. You revealed it. And, yeah. That. Repeat button, the loop of doubt. But despite the validation, the guilt didn't vanish. Every time I opened a group text and saw people joking without me, I felt a punch in my gut. Every time my dad's name popped up on old photos or memories, I remembered how he used to teach me to fish, or how he cried when I got into college. I wasn't raised by monsters. I was raised by people who never learned boundaries, and couldn't accept that I finally had. Puzzle piece: Sarah's guilt. Sarah's been amazing through all this, but she's not untouched. She cried one night, quietly, after dinner. When I asked what was wrong, she said, I feel like I broke your family. I held her and told her the truth. They were already breaking me. You just helped me see it. That didn't fix everything, but it helped her breathe again. Balance scale: the ultimatum. Here's where it gets messy. My mom sent me a letter, handwritten, saying she and Dad would be willing to talk things through if I apologized for how I handled the wedding. Not for what they did, but for how I reacted. I showed Sarah. She shook her head. That's not an apology. That's a trap. And she's right. I sat on that letter for days. Eventually, I wrote back. I love you. But I will not apologize for setting boundaries. If you want to have a real conversation, one with accountability on both sides, I'm open to it. But I won't pretend nothing happened. That's not fair to me or my wife. No response. Brain more therapy nuggets. In one of our recent sessions, my therapist gave me this gem. Guilt is what you feel when you've done something wrong. Shame is what others want you to feel so they don't have to change. And I've been chewing on that ever since. Maybe I'm not the villain. Maybe I'm the first domino to fall in a system that's been shaky for years. Telephone receiver. The surprise call. Just last week, I got a call. From my cousin, the same one whose party went nuclear. He said, "Hey. I think you were right. About your parents. They act like they own the family." Turns out, my aunt and uncle are starting to notice the pattern. The control. The expectations. The passive-aggressive comments. I'm not alone anymore. So what now? Well, it's been about 2 months since the wedding. Sarah and I are focusing on our own life. We're thinking about a dog, maybe a trip next spring. We laugh again. We sleep better. We fight less. The family wounds are still fresh. But now I know what healing feels like. Hourglass. Not done. To be continued. My parents still haven't responded to my letter. My extended family is split. But for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm the one writing the script. Part 3/3, the holiday reunion that changed everything. If you haven't read Part 1 and Part 2, here's the TLDR. I kicked my parents out of my wedding for ignoring boundaries. Now the entire family's divided. I've been blamed, gaslit, guilt, but also supported in ways I didn't expect. And just when I thought I was moving on, the holidays came knocking. Turkey Thanksgiving plans. Or not. Sarah and I had already decided we'd spend Thanksgiving just the two of us. Cook together. No drama. Maybe too much wine and a stupid movie marathon. But then my younger sister, Emily, called. "You should come," she said. "I know it's weird. But maybe if you're there, Mom and Dad will soften." I love my sister, but I knew this wasn't just about reconciliation. It was about peacekeeping. Still, I said we'd think about it. Brain flashback. Emily always mediated. Growing up, Emily was the buffer between me and our parents. She was quieter, more agreeable. She never made waves, and they rewarded her for that. When I'd argue with Dad about curfews or college, she'd be the one bringing cookies to my room afterward. So when she asked us to come to Thanksgiving, I knew it wasn't malicious. It was hope. Maybe naive hope, but hope all the same. Luggage. We went. I don't know what changed my mind. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I missed them more than I let myself admit. Maybe I was just tired of pretending I didn't still love my family. So, against our better judgment, we packed a pie, 2 bottles of wine, and showed up. Sarah squeezed my hand in the driveway. "If it gets bad, we leave." Agreed? Agreed. The door opens. My mom answered. She smiled, that tight, forced smile that hides panic. "Oh. You came." Not, "I'm glad you're here." Not, "I missed you." Just that. We stepped in. The house looked the same. Smelled like cinnamon and control. My dad was in the living room, pretending to watch football. Didn't look up. Emily came running and hugged me. So did my youngest cousin, who didn't seem to know there was drama at all. It was civil. Not warm. But civil. Until dinner. Fork and knife with plate. What blew it up? Halfway through the meal, Sarah complimented the stuffing. Mom smiled, again, tight. "It's a family recipe. From my side." Then she turned to me. "Not that you care much about family anymore." And just like that, the room went silent. I put my fork down. Sarah glanced at me. I could feel the tension building in my chest. "Mom, if this is going to be one big guilt trip, we can go." She waved her hand. "No, no. Stay. You always leave when things get uncomfortable." My dad added, still not looking at me. "Your generation just doesn't respect tradition." That was it. That's what they were mad about. Not the wedding. Not the fact I stood up for myself. It was that I broke the cycle. Collision. I finally snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just said, "You didn't want to be part of my wedding. You wanted to control it. And when you couldn't, you threw a tantrum. You made it about you. And now you're trying to punish me for growing up." No one spoke. Even the cousins stopped eating. My mom's lip trembled. My dad stood up. "Get out." I nodded. Got up. Took Sarah's hand. But then Emily stood, too. "No. He's right." "What? You've done this for years. Controlled everything. You turned his wedding into a power play. And now you're trying to act like he destroyed the family?" My dad's face went red. My mom started crying, loudly. But I didn't feel guilt this time. I felt free. House with garden. Aftermath. We drove home in silence. Sarah rested her hand on my knee the whole time. When we got in, I threw out the leftovers we'd been given. I didn't want to hold on to any part of that night. The next morning, Emily texted. "They're furious. But I don't care anymore. Thank you for speaking up." Later, I got a message from my cousin, the same one who started seeing through the family patterns back in part 2. "Wish I'd said something too. You're braver than I am." Open mailbox with raised flag. One last letter. 2 weeks later, I received another handwritten letter from my mom. But this one was different. No guilt. No demands. Just this. "I'm sorry for trying to control your life. I thought I was doing what parents should do. But I see now how much I hurt you. I'm not ready to talk yet, but I'm trying to understand." I didn't cry. I just sat there and breathed. For the first time in months, it felt like the door hadn't closed, it had just been jammed. Maybe this was the start of it opening again. Brain therapy takeaways. My therapist summed it up perfectly. Sometimes standing up for yourself looks like betrayal to people who benefited from your silence. It doesn't mean you were wrong. It means they weren't ready for the version of you that honors your own peace. Seedling. Moving forward. Sarah and I adopted a dog. Her name's Olive. She's chaotic and perfect. We're planning a honeymoon, one where we don't have to invite anyone or explain our joy. I'm closer with my sister now than I've ever been. And as for my parents? I don't know what's next. But I know I'm open to something honest. Not performative. Not manipulative. Just real. Redheart. Final thoughts. Family is complicated. It can wound you and raise you. Break you and build you. But at the end of the day, your life belongs to you. Not your mom's scrapbook. Not your dad's legacy. Not your aunt's opinions. You get one shot at this, and I've finally decided I'd rather disappoint others than abandon myself. Thanks for listening, Reddit. Op.